I just installed a Chinese body kit on this McLaren 650S, and I think I accidentally just made one of the coolest McLarens ever. Today we just keep checking things right off the list on this car. Why don't you guys come on up here and let's get to work. Last video I ended you guys off right here where we finished basically all the body work, couple things here and there to do still, but the front end is pretty much finally done. There are three main mechanical issues we need to do. This passenger side door panel is not getting power for some reason. It's been an issue for a while now. Also, the fuel filler door is stuck closed. We already got this mostly unbolted, but this still doesn't open. I still can't fuel it up with the actual door. And then the last of the smaller mechanical issues is this freaking steering angle sensor. Last video I looked into this, but I think I just need to get an alignment and that will really help the false reading of the steering angle sensor. I'm probably just gonna move along to this fender liner really quick so we can actually set the car down when we need to. Yeah, that's the plan. Let's do it. And here's the list of things we still have to do. If you want to see all of the things we still have to do, there you go.
So I modified and installed the driver's side fender liner and put it in. And soon after that, Ryan rolled over to help me diagnose the door power issue.
See a little pin in there? How it's all green and corroded?
Oh yeah, wow.
This little unit's gonna need to be replaced.
Those things are so expensive.
Somehow, no way, really?
Yes.
Let's just take this one apart and see if we can do something with it.
So we ended up finding a corroded pin in the climate control connector, so he cracked it open to see if there was any obvious damage to the unit. It's just confusing because the passenger door worked perfectly fine until I took it to the first paint shop, then around the time I took it back, it mysteriously stopped working. And if it had been damaged from the auction yard with water getting in it, it would have not worked at all the entire time I had it. So kind of strange, it just stopped working randomly.
So next step is just find some dork who can fix these things.
Literally.
Just find a nerd.
Like, oh dude, that's just a simple Arduino board and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
we have like 10 of those here.
So yeah,
Well, there we go.
dude, if I had to bet money on it, this is the problem.
Yeah,
So
sounds good. How much you want to bet on it?
we can bet on it. To be honest, I really don't want to mess with that door cap right now. Things already kicked my butt a couple times.
Oh yeah, screw the door cap, dude. I got that, easy
We
enough.
can figure out this clock spring.
Yeah, let me show you. I got the whole thing right here we can take a look at.
So anyway, with that mystery potentially solved, we moved along to diagnosing the steering angle sensor, which is still throwing off the hydraulic steering system with a false reading. A couple McLaren guys I talked to said you can't actually reset or calibrate the steering angle sensor via software in the McLaren diagnostic software, so whoever sold me this used one from eBay probably messed it up somehow before sending it to me. And it's just a matter of me finding zero again with the gears or replacing the unit with a new working one. So again, I'll give it a shot next time.
So last night me and Ryan did the clock spring thing, and right when we made the last turn, the last adjustment we think it needs, the ignition won't turn on anymore. Pushing it, it should have ignition on now, and it doesn't do anything. The battery has power. I have no idea what's actually wrong with it, but it does not turn the ignition on. So I guess I'll just get the steering wheel put back on and then we'll actually try to start this thing. But the weirdest problem, I've never had it just not turn the ignition on randomly with full battery power. Guess I'm just gonna fire it up, see if that fixes the weird ignition problem. There's a chance it doesn't fire up at all. We'll see. The car doesn't even start. I'm gonna put the key right by the receiver. What the heck? Oh. Okay, so the ignition started working randomly right there. The only way it started was putting the key in here. Still nothing though. What in the world?
Anyway, I moved along to picking up the freshly cleaned climate control module and also took the time to open up the door switch module to see if that had any visible damage that could cause the door to malfunction.
It definitely doesn't look like it shouldn't work. I went ahead and cleaned the circuit board up and it looks completely fine. I looked at every little pin connection and every solder joint, they all look completely fine. There was a little bit of surface moisture right there, but overall to me, it looks like it should be fully operational. I'll throw it back in and just see what happens. Go ahead and connect the door panel.
I'll just save you some time again, there was no change. And while we struck out twice on these technical problems this video, at least we're narrowing down the possible solutions. So I installed the steering wheel knowing I'll have to take it back off at some point for the SAS sensor. And if you remember from the engine swap video, the transmission fluid was leaking from the overflow port. So I drained a little bit of the transmission fluid out to remedy that and vacuumed off the top of the transmission of any oil that had leaked out. It wasn't a huge problem, but it had to get done at some point. Next, I moved along to opening the bleeder valve on the hydraulic system system to see if there was any air in the lines causing that PCC degraded fault that we're getting.
Well, I just connected the microphone so we didn't actually catch this, but I think I found a problem with our power steering. This is the bleeder valve, and I heard like actual air hiss out of it when I open it up. Obviously, it should be pushing fluid through here, and it's not. So obviously we have some air in the system again. And I remember last time when I bled this and was actually getting some good liquid coming out, that's when all the PCC faults went away and everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and jack the front of the car up again, do the lock left, lock right a bunch of times, and hopefully we'll get some nice pressure flowing through here again. So let's get it done. But before we get too far, let's go ahead and take a second for today's video sponsor, WOLFBOX. This is the Megavolt 24 jump starter. So let's get this out of the box, take a look, see how it does. All right, popping it open. It comes in a nice case. How about that? Got your jumper cables, wall charger for it. Dude, check this out.
So this is the WOLFBOX Megavolt 24 jump starter, which is capable of starting all 12-volt vehicles with its 4,000 amp peak output power. It's light and compact, it has fast charging, and it's super easy to use with its big LCD screen. The top of the unit has a power button and a boost button, which are used for jump starting vehicles, but it also has a USB and USB-C out port for charging other devices, which is a really nice feature. It also has a very bright light on it with 3 different modes: solid, fast flash, and slow flash functions. Like any other jumper pack, you connect the jumper cables red to red, black to black, turn the jumper pack on, and start the vehicle. Like I said before, it works on all 12-volt vehicles, like my SUV here. It also works great on motorcycles, and it even works on semi-trucks and larger machinery as well. It's a very versatile, very portable, and very powerful unit.
So thank you, WOLFBOX, for sponsoring today's video. I've been getting a lot of good feedback from people trying out their products since the last video. I'll drop the link below for the jumper pack if you guys want to check them out. That being said, let's get back to work. All right, I'm gonna fire it up one more time. There was definitely a little bit of smoke in the air after it ran for a little while, but I had this open and all of this just had like oil spilled all over it. But I just wanna make sure that if I fire it up right now, there's not smoke actually coming out the exhaust. If I get sketched out at all, I'm just gonna take it to a certified McLaren technician because I am not about to replace another engine if this starts smoking. See any smoke? Looks normal. All right, looks normal, that's good. Less sketched out, we're good. Everything smells normal, all right.
So I called Lord Curt to see if he had the tools to repin the trunk tub connectors, and he decided to just roll over to my house to help me do it before he had to fly out the next morning to Chicago. Very much a side note, but one of the coolest parts to me about this project is just how invested people are in it. Today, a kid named Colin lives close by, rode his bike over to look at the McLaren, and he gave me a gold Lamborghini Gallardo just like mine last year. My dad stops by every time he sees the garage door up, and it's almost every other day that somebody else comes to the garage to see the projects. It just means a lot to me having people interested in what I'm doing, since there were so many years where nobody did. Anyway, I finished pinning the connectors when Lord Curt literally had to take off to Chicago, and with the connectors done, all 3 units powered on great.
You guys can see this trunk, the emergency release switch, works perfectly fine. I actually had placed an order for a new one of these that I found on eBay, but it was gonna be like 60 bucks, and I know it doesn't sound like much, but when we can do like a free connector using the 12C one that was in the trunk tub that we bought, this one's free, and it works the exact same, just a different connector. And then the cigarette lighter cable we had to repin, because this was actually snipped from the trunk tub. Same with the emergency release latch. And because this is wired in, there's 1 less fault on the car. So that's, might not seem like much, but to me, 1 less fault is a big win. Today, I wanna actually try to focus on getting this stupid freaking fuel cap to actually open. What a freaking dumb problem this is. Theoretically, I'm freaking stupid. Is that what the F am I looking at? It's open! And this indeed was the last thing we had never opened since the accident. You guys can see how incredibly filthy it is in here. I can't believe my eyeballs right now, but now it opens and closes just like a normal fuel door without locking with the vehicle. I don't really care. It's not the 80s. No one's stealing and siphoning gas out these days. Big accomplishment tonight. That's great. And when I get this looking as good as new, that's pretty much it. I think I'll just leave it like this. So if you see my car around, don't steal my fuel, please. But I think I'm just gonna probably leave it like this, honestly. A lot of people on the forums were needing this exact thing done, and there's nothing on the forums and nobody has any information on how to open this if it gets stuck closed. So let me show you real quick. I got you. So this is the unit that connects to the fuel door, and this is the pin that holds it closed electronically. So when you lock the car, this pin shoots up and holds it closed, and when you unlock the car, this pin will go back down and allow your car to open the fuel door. A lot of times what I've been hearing on forums is this actually electronically fails in the locked position, and then you can never access your fuel door again until you drop this out. So what you need to do is remove all the hoses, 3 screws. You may need to unscrew a couple underneath here too, and then you can move this over just enough to access the 2 screws that holds this pin module onto the actual fuel filler. And once that's unscrewed, this will slide right out, and there you go, it's open. So you're welcome, McLaren community, you're welcome. This definitely is not OEM. Look at this. This was glued in here. And look at this, there's a 3M taped washer here. So somebody was having problems with this before too. That is insane. Well, couldn't help myself but just come out here this morning and just, how about that? Now, technically it's only held in by magnets, but I don't think that's gonna be flying open anytime soon. Feels good to have that done. Fuel filler door is officially off our list. All right, next up as promised, let's go ahead and see if we can take this off and fit the new like wide body like side skirt on here. So let's get this old one off and see if this will even look any good and if I want to actually follow through with it or not. Ah, wow. Ouch. Pop this out, a couple little clips, a couple screws, and then this should come right off. There we go. There it is. All you clean title McLaren owners, one thing I got on you is this part on my car is for sure cleaner than yours. For sure cleaner than yours. Okay. Well, kind of cool. Let's see if it'll actually even fit. Some modification to do to these pieces. From Chinese factories, obviously they just mold them and stuff and they don't actually drill out any of the holes. And this entire lip right here does not even exist on this panel. You guys can see there's definitely some differences between these two. And this one doesn't actually fit. I just tried it on the cart. So I'm gonna have to also cut this off of the grinder and make that fit properly. That's not great. That's definitely not great. If you're just looking at it like this though, it looks fine. Okay, I love that. Yep, we're rolling with it. That looks fantastic. Oh man. Well, I just finished installing the Chinese body kit 100%. The whole front end, the whole side panels, everything straight from China. I was like this close to not even installing this whole Chinese body kit on the side at least. The front end we had to do obviously, because I knew it would take a lot of time and I didn't trust the end result would be good from China. But dude, I cannot believe my eyes. Boom, check this out. Look at this thing. It looks so good. It just changes like the overall vibe of the car. It looks so much wider and so much more aggressive. I couldn't be any more happy with how this all came out. Considering this was a full-on Chinese body kit, whole front end was at $5,000 for all of that. And then these side panels were like, I think I wanna say they were right around the $1,200 range for this. But overall for like an entire body kit from McLaren, $6,200 or whatever, straight from China, and for it to look this good, dude, I'm not complaining. So this part of the body kit and this part of the body kit were from two separate sellers, but they flow so cohesively together. It's just like one complete body kit. It looks fantastic. You guys get the point. There's no other way to say it. It looks great. I have it half installed over here, so it's not the stock look, but that's kind of what it looked like stock. And then just coming over here, it looks so much better. Now that the engine is swapped, now that all the modules that I've been wanting to plug in are plugged in, next up is a shakedown drive. But I'm gonna save that for next video because I can't guarantee I'm gonna get to it in the next couple days. Just, you know, life and responsibilities and stuff, you know. But we are plugging right along. It was total like 2 days to get this whole kit installed. Also, I did this as professionally as I could have. I installed everything correctly. No self-tapping screws, it's all riv nuts. I did install some mesh to finish off the vent. But yeah, man, my skills are definitely improving on just like installing body kits and body work and stuff. This is all how professionals would do it. All riv nuts, drilled out to the right size, fitted up how it should. This fits as well as an OEM part. It's all made to unscrew. It's very sturdy. It does not move whatsoever. And you guys can see that this is perfectly flush here. The gaps are exactly how they should be for the door. Opens up just like stock should. And just overall, it looks incredible. It looks fantastic. You guys can see I made this plenty strong to close the door with it if I want to. And man, yeah, overall just looks fantastic. I'm very satisfied. Let's go ahead and permanently install this side, and then let's move along to putting these panels back together. So let's get to it. It's midnight now. I spent like the last 2 hours trying to get these two panels to line up. I'm still tweaking it, and it's almost perfect. There were several areas that did not line up at all, and the little bracket that bolts under this was way off. I had to cut it and basically remake them out because there's no way it was fitting. I think this panel was very poorly shaped, and that is throwing everything down below here off. And obviously this part is the most important part to make it line up. It's basically perfect. I'm almost happy with it. Just a little bit more to go. It's just such a waste of time.
The next day, I began final reassembly of the back end, installing the last body panels now that I don't need access under them anymore. Next, I added gold heat shield tape over the damaged cloth heat shield, and I installed the engine cover. I removed the wheels to access the bolts for the exhaust cover much easier, and to install the wheel spacers I bought. And in goes the exhaust cover, on goes the rear spoiler, and in goes the passenger side rear fender liner.
All right, just in the nick of time, I got the wheel spacers in. These are 0.6 inch spacers. I'm hoping that's just enough to make the wheel come right out to the edge of the fender. Got the fender liner in, so we're ready to put the wheel back on, hopefully for one of the last times ever, besides like tire swaps and stuff. All right, I'm gonna throw the fender liner in this side temporarily as well. I do need to actually take it back out to charge the AC system, which is going to be done like ASAP before we actually drive around too much. I wanna get this AC system charged. But yeah, let's throw this in temporarily just so the TPMS sensor can start reading. I actually noticed the front one started reading correctly. So the TPMS sensors that used to be in the Lamborghini Gallardo are probably the exact same ones. The wheels fit on the McLaren, everything. TPMS sensors are reading. So hopefully we don't even need to replace the TPMS sensors in the wheels. That would be awesome. Not what I was expecting, but hey, I'll take the win. Anyway, let's throw this in real quick and then set the car back down. We're to that point. Last thing before I drop it down, I wanted to plug in every single module that I had, every light, the reverse camera, everything before we actually get it on this official drive, just so all the codes that possibly could be cleared. I don't want any TPMS faults. I don't want stupid faults for lights, that kind of thing. I just want it to be mechanical faults, and that's the last thing we have to solve. Unfortunately though, I think this is a 720S rear TPMS receiver. The connector didn't really slide on very easily. It's the same exact pins, it's the same exact frequency, looks like the same exact module, but it looked like one of the tiny plastic guides in there wasn't aligning. It was like a millimeter off. So I took that guide out and I'm hoping it works. So let's install this temporarily with zip ties, and then when I get the diffuser mounted back up, we can permanently mount this stuff back up. But we're really close, we're right there. Wow, oh, this car looks so much different. Wow, this thing looks so good.
If you feel alright, we can throw it in drive. With the radio so loud they can hear us from miles.
Our list kind of got destroyed, so I think it's time to consolidate. Got rid of that. Got rid of, install a new TPMS sensor. I think I just accidentally built one of the coolest 650Ss in existence. And I'm not even kidding you. This doesn't even look like the same car anymore. Just the presence. Wow, bro, that wheel spacer. That's just like the gap. So perfect. Let's take a look. Wow. In this exact moment in time, it feels like this whole process has been worth it. Like, just take a look. I'm just gonna say, man, this body kit completely changed the whole presence of the car. It's come that time, dude. Let's just take a look around this thing and let me show you all of the progress we made. Look at the freaking spacing on these wheels. It is so perfect, down to like the millimeter. It's exactly how it should be. Just check this out. Just check this thing out. Just look how aggressive and low it looks now. And then of course this whole front end was straight from China as well. Like, your eyeballs can see this. All right, this is probably one of the coolest 650Ss ever built. Just the whole front end and the lowering side kit and everything is just so perfect. And in my personal opinion, I think it's the perfect blend between aftermarket aggressive kit and stock. In my opinion, the stock wing just kind of ties in all of the aggression to like still a very refined vehicle, but very angry. But man, I just couldn't be happier with this thing. Like, oh my gosh. It just seems like such a new car to me now. Like, I'm not even seeing it as a project car anymore. It's so close to being done. I can just taste it on the road, just driving this thing around and jumping in and going. Man, it's been a long time coming. And I'm very proud of the whole installation for this side kit. It's right on the money. And there's no flex in these panels at all. And also last night I spent way too long getting this joint very, very close to being perfect. Man, and just overall, it looks so sick. I could not be any happier with this. Dude, it's such a sigh of relief. And just to think that we can fuel up any freaking time we want now, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. All right, well, that's it for this video. I think you guys can tell just how happy I am. I just can't stop smiling looking at this car. That body kit just completely transformed the overall presence of this car. The 650S actually shares a lot of the parts from the 720Ss, some of the P1 parts even, a lot of the 675 LT parts, and just a lot of those higher end McLaren cars. So a lot of the parts are like that hypercar territory, and this body kit just made it look like a hypercar too. It doesn't look like your base model 12C anymore, and I just couldn't be any more excited about it. So cool. I bought the front end kit and the the side kit from 2 different eBay sellers who also list on various platforms. And while it wasn't actually from Temu, Temu's kind of the up and coming thing. And so if you want any views on YouTube, now you got to do it. Fun fact, there's actually one other YouTuber who's building a McLaren 650S with a body kit from Temu. You know, just some small time, nobody, no subscribers, no good content, not worth watching at all. Anyway, he is building a 650S with a body kit from Temu. It was interesting because I couldn't find any body kits from Temu, so he obviously didn't order it actually from Temu. But it is the trending thing on YouTube right now, so we might as well all be in it for the money, am I right? But now that we're trending in the YouTube algorithm with this, maybe we could get out of this money pit. Yeah, so anyway, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I genuinely love having you guys here, and I hope you're enjoying the videos. We're coming up to the end on this build. So next video, we're gonna give this thing the shakedown drive. We're gonna pull it out to the sunlight and get some miles on it. Hopefully that'll clear up a lot of the issues. So stay tuned for that. I'll catch you guys next time.